Hi, Kimberly Bell here. How you doing? So over the last few weeks, we've been talking about where our focus is with the negative self-talk or the disempowering thoughts that we think repetitively during the day. And then we talked about last week, we spoke of what do we want to feel? What is it that we want to see change for ourselves? And I asked you to write some things down. So now we're clear. Now we understand probably a lot more clearly what we do every day and how we want to feel differently about it. So this week, I'd like to talk a little bit about how to shift it. And when we shift something, we have to make sure that certain things are aligned. We need to look at this kind of globally from a higher perspective and say, okay, I don't like what's going on here, but I have to align things. So it's like the law of attraction, right? We know that everything in our universe is energy, and it's either a low vibe or a high vibe or a combination of all the above. But in order to change something, to shift something, we have to be aligned with that which we want to call into our lives, see change, manifest. We are creators. We are not victims of our circumstance. We have been taught and we have grown up in a consciousness where we have learned very disempowering ways for ourselves and for those around us and our world. But that's not really how it is. Really how it is we are in charge of our own destinies. We are creators, we are manifestors, and it all comes down to this energy thing. Getting back to everything being energy, your desk, your thoughts, your words, all of it, it's energy. So when I talk about aligning, we think of things from an energetic standpoint because energetically we want everything to be kind of in the same ballpark proportion. So if we, negatively talk about ourselves and we hate this and we can't stand that and oh, this never works out, all of those things, disempowering, lower vibration, thoughts, words, feelings, then we go to the other side, which is the higher vibration, right? It's okay to acknowledge that we're not loving the way things are. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very empowering to acknowledge where you are in the moment and to be aware that you're not happy with it is empowering. Or also to acknowledge something that you're feeling great about, to acknowledge yourself that you did something that you're really proud of. Those things are very important. But I am talking about taking that lower vibe and turning it and shifting it into the higher vibration. And we have to do that in certain ways to call in what it is that we want to experience. So thoughts, words, feelings, actions, these are all very important. Your feelings and your emotions are extremely important because they are what drive your day-to-day experience. So this week's all about aligning. And I thought, you know what, it would be great if I could come up with a small action plan because I try to get these videos done as fast as possible. So this is where we are. So I have an action plan for you. And my thought is this will help you shift into a higher vibration. So what I want you to do, what it is that you're not loving in your life, whether it be your job, your relationship, a situation with the kids, I want you to realize that in order to get a change, you have to do things differently. So instead of the lower vibration, I want you to kind of up the order, if you will, to a higher vibration with your thoughts and your words and your feelings and your actions. And you might come into a situation where you're like, but I don't feel that way. How can I make myself feel that way? What I'm more wanting is for you to shift yourself into the feeling that you want to feel. So if there's a very powerful, wonderful memory that you have, bring it up for yourself. It may not be related to what it is that you are feeling disempowered by, but the feeling itself carries a certain vibration of energy, and that's what I want you to feel. I want you to get into that feeling. So here we go. So when it comes to, let's just take relationship. So shift your negative thoughts into more empowering thoughts about your relationship. For the next few weeks, be the partner you would like to receive, okay? So when it comes to your thoughts, put yourself aside, okay? Be for your partner and be that partner you would like to see. When it comes to your words, choose words that have a higher vibration. Maybe you compliment more. Maybe you acknowledge more. Maybe you go up and give a hug more, or a touch or a glance, something. Maybe you can offer more presence in the moment, things like that. I realize those are not words, but those are things that are pretty empowering and are pretty powerful and can really change a typical vibration exchange between you and your partner. And when it comes to feelings, offer something up to your partner that would make you feel good to hear, okay? And at the same time, if you're not feeling good about it, bring up a memory or a time, when take yourself away from your situation, or even stand there in the situation and bring up that memory that made you feel so good. And then when it comes to the actions, there again, do the glance, do the hug, do the touch, offer to do something that you typically wouldn't do. And it's all about doing things differently, and it's all about keeping yourself in a higher vibration. And that will shift. That'll shift you. That will shift your partner. And kind of experiment with that. I think that you'll see how much that can really change things. So that's this week. Next week, I want to talk about getting a little clear on where did these negative thoughts, where did these negative patterns first come up? Where do you first remember these situations in your life that are disempowering? Because so often they begin in childhood for sure, but we do carry them into our adult lives too. So we'll go into like an investigative mode with that next week. So that's it. Have a wonderful week. This video is a little long, sorry. Have a great one, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.